game tonight. I just want to express my gratitude to you guys who are here for taking advantage of what could be a great opportunity for you to learn from a young person who's had a good bit of success through his hard work. And you know, to just kind of take in another voice. I think you guys are all going through high school. You're hearing from teachers and coaches and your parents most certainly. But it's always great to bring in a young, new voice, somebody who's been through the rigors of college, been through the rigors of a college prep high school, and done it all while playing athletics at a high level. So that's why Joe's here today to talk a little bit about some things that we think can be helpful for you as you go through some adversity and some ups and downs. And after several years of hearing Joe being interviewed by people and seeing what he's done for the program down in South Bend, I just thought, wow, what a great guy, what a way to make this real for you guys. So we'll get started here in a minute, but I have one question I want answered for myself. I'm going to just be a little selfish. I just want to know, Joe, what the deal with Trick Shot Monday was over the last few years.
Hi guys, by the way. I'm Joe Schmidt. It's an honor to be here. Trick Shot Monday, for those of you that might not have seen it, you can YouTube us. We've got a couple videos up there. But it started out as just a fun way for us to kind of kill the time between, we had meetings, we have a long, our Monday's our meeting day, and we have a long Monday meeting day with about a 45-minute to an hour break, and then we have where we eat dinner, and then we have more meetings. So it's a long day where we just kind of sit in a classroom, and we decided that we wanted to do something fun between. So we ended up getting a little Gatorade cup and a ping pong ball, and we weren't allowed to eat until we found a creative way of putting the ping pong ball into the cup. And it's kind of created like 5 years of good memories and ridiculous shots. We were just on, I don't know if you guys watched like MTV Ridiculousness. We were on Ridiculousness like a couple weeks ago. We just had a great time with it. So that's a small cup. That's a really small cup.
Was Trick Shot Monday your brainchild? Is this something?
No. Yeah. So it was actually, if you guys are sports fans at all, like Mike and Mike, for maybe the boys in here, it's a show on ESPN Radio. Mike's son, Mike Gold Jr., and a couple other guys that were seniors when I was a freshman, came up with the idea, and I was there from the get-go, and we've actually got a lot of fun publicity, and we've had a lot of laughs over the years, and the celebrations are probably the most ridiculous. We'll do a fake interview, with a sideline reporter, and a lot of water being thrown on people, so it's a great time.
So I've seen one too many of these, which means I need to find something better to do with my time, but I'm going to put you on the spot here and see how good you got over the last few years. So,
I don't know, you got to make it creative. You got to do it.
I know, we're grabbing a little sticker.
He gets 3 tries.
We're getting 2 tries.
3 tries.
So, also backstory, when we do Trick Shot Monday, it generally takes like 30 minutes. So 2 tries is a bit audacious. We only have one try starter. Oh, you want to go off the thing? I like that.
You tell me.
Yeah, all right. What I want you to do is let's try. I'm going to give you a little layup, and you give me a little bounce back on the top of the thing. So
It's also on me.
yeah, so you got to give a little bit. Don't not too much.
Just tap it in. Just tap it in.
Starts about.
Get someone with some more touchdowns.
Get it together.
If this is made, t-shirts for everyone in the gym today.
Come on! All right. Corn dogs.
Oh!
And 8 for effort.
I wanted it. Sorry, guys.
We tried that champion, so that was a good fun start. So guys, what we'll do here for the next 20 or so minutes, I'll basically give Joe some things that we'd like to hear him talk about, given his experiences, and then we'll open it up at the end if you have any specific questions you'd like to ask about being a college student, about going through the recruitment process, about his own story. Anything really is kind of on the table for you. I'm going to ask this, that at the end of this, because we have some things happening right after we're done, that you're very expedient in getting out of the gym. We need to take care of the gym floor. We have a big game tonight. And if you want to talk to Joe for a minute or two afterwards or take a picture, we're going to do that in the hallway, not in here, okay? So I appreciate that. And then along the way, as I'm asking you questions, if you want to hear more about something, certainly raise your hand and we can try and answer it there. So, anything else you want to get out of the way before I...
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, anytime you want to ask a question, if something I said doesn't make sense, I start speaking crazy, just raise your hand, shout out. If it gets too boring, boo me. Whatever you guys want to do. So, I don't know, I'm just like one of you guys, and I remember vividly people coming back to speak, so hopefully I do a better job than those guys that spoke to me did. So here we go.
So Joe, obviously as a student at Notre Dame and at modern day and being an athlete, we all are told from a young age set goals. Small goals, large goals, short term, long term. And one of the things that I heard about you along the way is that when you were a young kid, at I think the age of 9, you were advised by someone to put some goals in your pocket and kind of keep them there. Tell us what you wrote down as a 9-year-old on that card and what you can tell our students about setting goals and making a plan to achieve them.
Yeah, so it actually started even earlier than that. My parents are here, by the way. If everyone wants to raise their hand and say hi.
Welcome.
My dad's also here. Yeah, so that's my mom. You guys can stay. So basically, when I was actually 5 years old, my dad, who's sitting right there, sat me down at a table, gave me a piece of paper and a crayon, and said, "Write down your goals," which is ridiculous because I could barely write. So, I mean, I had no idea what he was saying. At the end of this, 10 minutes that I was able to sit still, we had 3 goals that I had. One was go to the park with Dad, one was go to Baskin Robbins, and the third was go play football for Notre Dame. And how I really fell in love with Notre Dame at a young age, I don't really know. I wasn't from Chicago, I wasn't from the suburbs. I'm from LA, USC country, so kind of falling in love with Notre Dame was different, but it was something that I always wanted to do. That goal that I wrote down at 5 ended up becoming something that I crafted my life around. Every other goal that I had kind of played into the overall theme of me wanting to go pursue that and play football at the highest level at Notre Dame. And really, the other thing that I want to mention is that Notre Dame football at Notre Dame was really just another avenue for me to get to Notre Dame. I knew what I wanted, and it was to go to school there and to have fun. So basically that's how I started it, and then over time it developed. And I think it's also important to note that in my room right now, I wish I would have brought it, but it's my mom and I just made sure it's never going to leave the wall, so when I leave it's going to stay. But I have a goal board, and I think it's really important for all of you guys to do this, and I'll tell you why. Basically on my goal board, on the left-hand side, I guess you're looking at, on the left-hand side I have a list. And it's a list that I started on a blank white piece of paper when I got to Notre Dame. I remade all of my goals because I obviously checked off the ones from high school. I moved forward. So it's a list that I've had for 5 years. And at the top of it, it's GPA goals, it's social goals, it's life goals, it's whatever. But they're all up there, and I look at them every morning when I'm brushing my teeth. On the other side of it are some quotes that I like. I'm a big quote guy. One of them is, "Life's not about getting drunk and eating chicken fingers." I love that quote. So there's a lot of other stuff up there, and that's on my wall. And I think that for you guys, it's important because something each and every day, it's amazing how, oh, welcome friends. Hello there.
These are honestly, we're getting ready to compete in sectionals, right? Let's go.
So basically what I'm saying is, when you put something up in front of you each and every day, it's the same thing that happened when I was 9 and I put it in my wallet, because I found it in my wallet. It's when you see something each and every day, the way your subconscious mind works, the way your mind works, it's able to come up with creative solutions to a problem. Like, I mean, let's be honest, in my mind I'd be pretty creative for this body to play Division I sports. I'm very small, I'm unathletic, I have no vertical leap, but somehow I created a way to play there. So that's what I would say to all of you. Put something on your wall, whatever it is, make it specific. I'm going to go after it with whatever you have.
So along those lines, when you set those goals and you met the challenges, is there a person or is there something that you would constantly go back to try and refocus your goals or push yourself through that adversity? When you had your list, was there anything that you did as an action or a person that you talked to or anything like that you found yourself constantly resetting yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think really at the heart of that question, I see a mentorship thing that we're kind of hitting on. I was very fortunate that my father's, he's my greatest role model. He's exactly what I want to be. If I'm 1/100th of the man that he is right now, when I'm his age, I'll have been successful. I'll count my life as a success. So I was lucky there, but I also sought out different people because I think it's important that you're able to accept, inputs, accept leadership and advice from all across the board. So whether that's my brother-in-law, people that are leaders in my school, I had a couple of professors that I'm really close with Notre Dame at Monterey, even before. My coach, my high school football coach, is like my second father. And so I kind of went to those people to kind of seek out advice and to take what it was from each of them and to mold it in my own. So I think that those people in my life were able to kind of give me a unique perspective and help me get back to zero. And another thing that I do whenever if I'm stressed or if I'm facing some sort of challenge, I like to meditate. I know that sounds crazy now, but I'll just lay in my bed and visualize whatever the problem that what I have is. I'll just let my mind work and I'll just sit there and breathe and let my mind work on it. So that's some things I like to do.
Great. In an interview I watched with you and Jack Collinsworth, you noted that your leadership style is derived and shaped from many people and research you've done. Offer our students a few things, 2 or 3 things that you think are imperative to be an effective leader in either a sport or a community endeavor, their faith life, as students here every day. A couple of things that you think every leader should try and utilize.
Gotcha. Okay, so basically what he's sitting on here is that when I was, in the last couple years, I've really taken it upon myself to start reading a lot more and kind of just looking at people that I thought were successful in whatever realm that was. It doesn't matter if that's dance, business, athletics, what have you. I just wanted to study how people were successful. So one of the people I did a 6-month study on Warren Buffett. And I don't know if any of you guys know who Warren Buffett is. He's a business leader. He's perhaps the greatest investor of all time. And he's kind of just a thought leader. So I just decided to read everything that he wrote, all his interviews, all of his annual reports, and just kind of examine his life. I did that same thing with Bruce Lee. I don't know if any of you guys know Bruce Lee, martial art champion. But he also has some really unique, ideas on life. And I think he was a master of life. So I did that with him. I did it with John Wood, probably the greatest coach of all time. And I just kind of looked across the board at things that made these people successful, how they lived their life, and tried to take a little bit from each of them and bring it into what I do each and every day. I'd say that just a few things that I think is imperative for a leader. I wrote these things down because I wanted to make sure I hit them all. So I wrote at the top, leadership is just influence. That's all it is. It's nothing more, nothing less. That's a John Maxwell quote, so I'm sure you know that. But basically, there's 5 things I think are essential for leadership. One is clarity in where you're going. So the leader has to have a vision of where it is. So think about any great leader in your life, he's probably articulated exactly where he thinks you guys want to go. He or she, sorry. And then the second thing is having a specific plan. So those goals that we talked about, specific, each and every day. How am I going to get better to achieve the vision that I've set for this team and for myself? And you can do this on your own, like in each and every day that you have. And then number 3, in order to be a leader, you have to authentically care about the people around you. And I say that, like, before I understood this, like, I think as a younger person, it's so easy to be selfish, just get caught up inside yourself. If you want to be a leader, you have to show the people around you that you care about what's best for them, and you're trying to make them better people. So I think an authentic and true caring for the people around you is essential. I think positive energy when adversity hits is critical. I can't tell you how many stories I have about something going wrong that no one saw coming. Our best player getting hurt, breaking my leg in 17 different ways. I'm not getting a scholarship when all I thought was I was getting a scholarship. There's so much adversity. And if you talk to anyone in this room, I'm sure that's had success in whatever field it is. They all have a story about how adversity hit them. So it's going to hit. You just have to be ready for that and be able to positively go through that. And the last thing is just the ability to communicate effectively with everyone on your team, and to make sure that everyone is understanding of where the focus needs to be, what the goals are, and how we're going to get better. So that's I guess the 5 things. I know it's more than 3, but the 5 things that I think are imperative for good leaders.
That's terrific. Thank you. I want to go back to, I think, number 3. You said authentically care. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So, just in my observation of some of the guys I've coached and even being around here so long, I think there's no doubt that good teammates and a lot of our kids are that really do care when their teammates are struggling, or do care how well their friends are doing. But how comfortable are they in showing that, right? So I think maybe sometimes females can be a little bit more comfortable with that. But harken back to an experience, if you will, where you had to authentically demonstrate how much you cared for either a high school teammate or a college teammate, and what that really looks like and feels like.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll use my relationship with, for anyone that watches Notre Dame football, we have a pretty decent football player that plays next to me. His name's Schmidt. He's going to be a top 10 draft pick. He's an incredible player. And our upbringings couldn't be more different. So Jalen and I had to start really from square one in order to kind of get to know each other. And the way in which I showed him that I cared about him over time is that I constantly was trying to figure out what was best for the two of us together, not just because we're a linebacking core, it's really the two of us that work together, and how to really make his game improve along with mine. So it was never just about, like, when we talked, I never talked about just what I wanted to do, what I thought was best for the team. I wanted his input. I wanted to hear his thoughts. I wanted to work together as a team. And the way that we kind of built it from the bottom is it made for our relationship to be so that we saw the same things. We kind of understood everything the same way, and we cared about each other deeply because he knew that when I was solving problems, I had him in mind, and I knew the same, that when he was solving problems with the defense or life or whatever, that he had me in mind. And then I think that over time, the trust level that is built kind of leads to a great relationship. And so I think that that's one thing. And then I also just want to say, like, none of that's possible without first not being vulnerable. So I kind of just had to tell him, like, I was very open about all of my feelings with him. And I think that that's, if you really want to have like a relationship with someone, I think trust is the fundamental underlying aspect of that. And he completely trusted me because he knew I was completely open. And I had nothing to hide. So I think that openness, just being able to frankly communicate with someone that's a peer of yours, and then just kind of building it from the bottom, through conversation, through caring is something that's essential.
Outstanding, thank you. I want to go back to a tough day for you when you, as you noted, broke your leg during the 2014 season. I think your team was 6 or 7-1.
Yeah, so.
Things were going very, very well. It was Navy. It was Navy. And obviously you don't ever expect or think about getting injured. You had to put many, many hours into getting to the point that you were at, and then in one instant, all that probably came crashing down. Talk about the dramatic impact that had on your team's success and your emotions around the injury, both in the moment and then as you work through it, and the mentality that you think one ought to possess when faced with an individual adversity.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I broke my leg, really my leg into my ankle. I broke my fibula in like 4 different places, dislocated my ankle, and tore every ligament in my left ankle. And it was the worst part about it was that everything was going well for me at this point. I was leading the team in every defensive statistic for the most part. I had the most tackles, I think I had the most interceptions as a linebacker, most forced fumbles. I was having the season of my life. My team was doing well. We were 7-1. We barely lost to the defending national title, to the champions at their house. So everything was going well, and it all came crashing down in one moment. And I really, there's nothing quite like realizing just how like fragile the whole dream has been. And I think that was, it's really a dark time. You gotta, and it's only you. You realize that at these moments, it's about you and the battle that's within yourself in order to stay motivated and to continue to push through this kind of adversity. So for me, I just kind of adopted a mindset with which that I wasn't going to let anything derail me from the dreams that I still had. I could have just said, whatever. I had a great season. It's my senior year. I had fun. Now I'll go and do something else. But I wanted to play again. So I went and found the best surgeon. I had the best rehab team. I worked hundreds of hours. Each and every morning I did treatment twice a day. And I got back and was able to, I regained my starting position. Nothing's given to you. Once again, you gotta work from the bottom. So I think that it's important to kind of have that mindset of just consistently, working to get better, and that way when adversity does hit, you just kind of power through it. You put your head down, and you trudge through the storm. Adversity's going to hit you in whatever aspect. I'm sure something else horrible is going to happen to me in the future, and it's about your mindset and your ability to deal with that, along with a great support system that allows you to overcome.
In a similar vein, you've had teammates. Every college athlete has teammates whose careers get abruptly interrupted, or maybe poor decisions get made, or whatever. Your team starts out with goals. Losing teammates can impact those goals. So as a chosen leader of the team, or not chosen leader as a team, what types of things did you do as your teammates, found themselves in the wrong position relative to the goals? And how did you vocalize to those that were left, what you wanted to vocalize?
So last season, I guess, was maybe the most the best example of this phenomenon. We lost 22 of 24 starters throughout the year. So there's, on both sides of the ball, there's 11 starters. We lost 10 and 11 on both sides, which is ridiculous. I've never heard of anything like that before. And the way that, and what's even more ridiculous is that at the end of the year, we were one of the top 8 teams in the country, and really just 4 points away from being in the national title line. So I think that the way that we were able to do that, it started at the top with the way we told everyone we wanted to prepare for each and every game. And that is, we call it next man in. And I think that you say it about sports, but it can go for anything. So really, what it means, when you're the guy, like, you should be preparing to play the game. But when you're not, when you're that backup, whatever you are, you're not in the limelight yet. You need to be prepared for your opportunity, because you never know when it's going to come. I had no idea when my opportunity to go out there and earn a scholarship was going to come. I didn't know when my opportunity to go earn a starting spot was going to come, but you have to be ready. And that's the mindset we kind of, that was around our football team. So after everybody got injured, I never saw one guy, feel sorry for the team. Like, oh, we're not going to be okay. Like, we just lost, Jalen Schmidt, and then we lost his backup, and now we have a guy that's never played the position playing in the Fiesta Bowl. No one ever felt bad. We felt bad for the person that was injured, but we knew that everyone was preparing the right way, that we were all working hard, and we kind of, each and every day we made sure that was happening. So if anyone was closing their eyes in the meeting or wasn't working very hard, we called them out on it. And I think that kind of led to our entire culture being so that we were able to absorb these kind of injuries.
You find yourself calling teammates out probably daily.
Yeah.
How did you approach that? Because I see our guys trying to do it in certain ways. What was your approach to calling people out?
So I have a different way of doing this, and so I think people use examples of perhaps the great leaders that they think that they know. So in my sport, Ray Lewis is regarded as one of the greatest linebackers to ever do it. He's also not the same kind of leader that I am. He's someone that's going to say, "Hey, I see you right there. You are spirit. Yeah, I see you leaning over," and he's going to just call you out, and he's going to tell you, like, "Yeah, I do see you right now. Like, and I want you to sit up." And if you don't do it, he's going to punch you. And I'm not that kind of guy. I don't think it's effective. What I would recommend is you got to go from that foundation that I talked about, and then number 3, authentically caring for people. So instead of me telling you, "Hey, I'm going to come up there and hit you for sitting down," I would start by having a relationship with you. You know that I have your best interests at heart, right? And so when I come to you, not in front of everybody, I'm not going to make a fool of you. I'm gonna show you, like, hey, I'm gonna tell you, like, hey, this doesn't look good for you. Like, I really want you to I want you to succeed here. I want you to do well. It's probably best if you pay more attention in the meeting, and that's going to be best for your playing career and for us as a whole. Like, I'm going to show him that I care, and that way, if I ever do have to, lose my cool and come after him in front of everybody, he knows that it's coming from a place of love and not from a place where I'm just trying to come after him and make a fool out of him. So that's kind of the difference between maybe the contemporary view on leadership and what I wanted to do in my position.
Thank you. For those of you that don't know or haven't heard him already say it, or someone else say it, Joe here had multiple scholarship offers as a senior in high school, not one from Notre Dame, still chose to attend Notre Dame and work towards earning a scholarship, which he did in junior year. His junior year. In addition to that, he was recognized in the academic world at his high school and at the University of Notre Dame. So clearly, you possess a work ethic that will lead to success. Talk about maybe your daily approach to your commitments, whether it be the Fiesta Bowl, an exam, going out to dinner, whatever. How do you find yourself creating the frame of mind to be authentic to your work ethic that we've been?
So I think that starts really with my overall view on how I want to live my life. So each and every day I want to live my life like a champion. I've got an alert on my phone at 10 a.m. every morning. It says live a championship life today. And I like that just to remind me, like, hey, if you're not doing it, you better start. It's still early. You got time to fix it. So that's kind of how it starts every day. I start maybe articulating this through. I have 4. When I form my goals, I have 4 categories I put them into. And so I've got a spiritual category. I've got a social category. And so what's spiritual, it's like my relationship with my God. I'm a Catholic man. That's okay, whatever you guys want to be. Then my social relationships, my relationship with my mother, my relationship with Bill, my relationship with any of you guys, my best friends, my wife eventually. I think that's important. So then the next one is athletic and academic. And then athletic is like health, whatever. And academic is obviously work, learning, just a lot across those lines. And I believe that it's impossible to have true success without putting forth equal effort into each bucket. So whenever I'm working each and every day, I know that I can't take away from my academic experience in order to put more into my athletic bucket. And I know that if I do that, the way I like to think about it is that if any one of those categories goes to 0, they all go to 0, and it's impossible for me to have any success. So when I try to do it, I just try to give as much effort as I possibly can across the board. go after my daily goals, the things I want to accomplish each and every day in all of those categories in order to one day become the man that I truly want to be. And I think that's kind of what keeps me motivated every day. It's how I fight complacency and just try to pursue excellence. Because that's the framework which I use, and I don't know. Hopefully, you guys can find some use out of that too.
Great, thank you. St. Viator is a Catholic high school. We strive to emphasize service in our community, requiring our students to complete a lot of service hours over the course of 4 years. Sometimes we do that as a team, but often as an individual. Like many things, service can be another task or obligation that crunches our time. You were the recipient of a service award this year called the Irish Round the Bend Award. Discuss where that award fits in your treasure chest of trophies and what being a person of faith and in service to others has taught you, and how that's helped you achieve success in sport and every avenue of your life.
Well, I'd say that award, the Irish Round the Bend Award, it ranks right there with the MVPs, the captains, whatever it was. I think it's the exact same. It's the upper echelon. It's something that I'm extremely proud of. And when I approach, the way that I try to go about service, I don't really like the word charity, but or go about charity is really I just try to follow the example that Jesus gave me. I got a quote that I really like by I think it's Carl Jung, and I can't do it any better than Jesus. You can't. So I really it's about living a life every day of faith and understanding that if you do that you're going to be happy, you're going to feel more fulfilled, and it's really the road to happiness and success is through that. And I think it's important for all of you. I remember in high school, talking with my friends, we had to do 80 service hours. I don't know how many you guys have to do. We had to do 80, and my friends hated it. And I think it was because they weren't looking at it in the right light. I think it's something that's great that schools make you do because you're able to find something that you're passionate about, something that moves you. Like the things that I like to do are not the same things that you like to do. They're not the same things that you like to do. And I think that all of us are called in a unique way to help people, to make this world better. And if we were all called in the exact same way, that wouldn't be very good for our world because we're all doing the same thing. It's not going to be very balanced. So I think that it's important to use this time to find something that really matters, that makes you feel happy, that makes you smile, and you don't feel that it's service. You feel like this is something where you're just going to have fun. So for me, the things that I like to do, I started a charity at Notre Dame's foundation. It's called Uplifting Athletes, and we raise money for rare diseases. They're diseases that are less than 200,000 Americans are affected with each year, and they don't get any funding. So I thought that was something that I would like to champion. I like to go to nursing homes, just hang out with people that are in nursing homes, and just do whatever they want to do there. I like to go speak at different events. I had a lot of people that helped me in my life. If I can give back to one young person, I think that's great. If I can help you go and achieve your dreams, I think that's awesome. So those three things might sound terrible to everyone in this room. I have no idea, but there's something that sounds great to you, and I think that what you should try to do with your hours and your obligations is go find what that is and go out there and change the world in a way that's unique to you and that no one else can do. And I think that all of you guys can do that. So I think that's great.
Thank you. That really kind of takes us through the major areas I wanted to have you share with our students. Hopefully some of you have thought of something to ask Joe, or you heard him say something you want to hear more about. I know nobody likes to be the first one to raise their hand, but at this time, are there any questions from the audience? Yes, James.
What was the hardest atmosphere to play a college football game in?
That's a good question. So his question is, what was the hardest atmosphere to play a college football game in? What was it? And I would say there were a few that were up there. I think Michigan at night games, what they do is they project their crowd noise and their band noise onto the field. So if I was to stand this close to Bill, I would not be able to hear him if he was screaming as loud as possible. It was insane. That was tough. Florida State was a very tough environment, and then also Clemson was tough. It was loud, and it was raining. But if you're a Clemson fan,
Yeah. My brother and sister go there.
cheers to you, man. They had a great year.
Monsoon, right?
Yeah, you couldn't even, I mean, it was the most ridiculous circumstances to play a football game. I played in the blizzard and it was better than that.
Yeah, I was there.
So,
Thanks for leading us off, James.
good job, man.
The most
warming it
meaningful
up.
questions.
What's up, man?
Warming it up.
When you set the goal for yourself, do you ever feel like those aren't attainable at the time? Do you ever have to like convince yourself to really make those attainable goals?
Yeah, that's a great question. So he said, when you set goals for yourself, do you ever feel that they're not attainable at the time? And every time I feel that they're not attainable right now. That's why they're a goal. I set really lofty goals. So what I end up doing to break them down into manageable pieces is within all those categories, right? I have like basically a life goal, and then underneath that, I try to put like, I try to break them into increments. So right now I have like a couple goals that I want to accomplish by the time I'm 30. But then I have underneath that, I've got like yearly, monthly, and even sometimes I'll like have like a weekly something that I want to do. Like so if it was like, if the overarching goal is to go to Harvard Business School. My goal for this week is to study 2 hours a night in my GMAT club. You got to break it down into manageable daily things that you can do, and then it's amazing how this works. It's compounding. I don't know if you know anything about compounding, but it's incredible how you just start by doing just a little bit each and every day. What you end up with at the end is this unbelievable logarithm curve going into exponential curve going into the ceiling. So I would say break it into like daily goals or weekly goals, something small, and figure out a way to accomplish whatever it is that you're doing.
Great question. Yes, Pete.
As a captain, what was like the biggest challenge you had while trying to communicate something to your teammates?
As a captain, what was the biggest challenge you had trying to communicate something to your teammates?
I think the hardest part about I think for me at least communicating with the team. I obviously have no problem sitting here in front of you, so I'm not really afraid of speaking in front of people. The hardest part though is sometimes when you're a leader, a lot of the time it's kind of a lonely place to be, in that you've got to make the decisions that nobody else wants to make. So when I would go up in front of the team on Thursday and say, hey guys, we're not going to Club Feed tonight. Like we're just not going. And Club Feed is like the place where if any of you guys go to Notre Dame, you guys are going to Feed. So it's not the place we need to be though.
Not you, Cole.
Oh yeah, not you, Cole. By the way, I talked to him. But we're not going there as a team, and it's not it's not like a popular thing to say, because everybody wants to go and hang out with their friends. But me telling them that they don't want to go is hard. So I think that those decisions where you're making the right call, but it's not the popular decision, is the hardest thing to kind of communicate down the ladder. And the way that you do that is you find 5 guys that are influential across all spectrums. And I'm sure if you play on a team right now, you know that there are a few guys that connect with each section, right? You get those guys on your team, right? And then you make them a part of your little committee, and then when you need lieutenants to go out there and get stuff done with maybe an unpopular decision, you have Charlie go talk to his boys and tell them, yeah, we're not going to Feed. And that gets done because Charlie has pull there that maybe you don't have. So that's how I would say go about it. What's up,
Christian, go ahead.
Loud, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Who's the most talented offensive player you played against?
Ooh, good question. This, like, if you want ever? I'll give you a few. Is that okay? Or do you want like a definitive answer? That's hard. Okay, I thought Le'Veon Bell was really, really good. the receiving core for USC every year is ridiculous. So whether that's Robert Woods, Marquise Lee, Nelson Aguilar, they're all really good. I thought the running back from Clemson, Wayne Gallman, was a fantastic player. And no one else says that, so you know Wayne, go ahead and tell him. He did every game. I had an awful game. Let's see, who else was really good? Yeah, I was gonna say, if I had to pick people I didn't want to play against, there's a couple on my team right now. CJ Grosseis and Will Fuller, not people who want to play against. And then lineman-wise, I'd say, who was really good? Zach Martin was good. Zach Martin's probably the best player I ever played against. So there you go. Go ahead.
Who was the best player you ever played with at Notre Dame?
Played with Notre Dame? Well, then Zach Martin. He's the best player I ever played against and played with. I've never seen anyone like he would be blocking people. Like he was blocking Romeo Okwara. I don't know if you watch football or Notre He would block Romeo when we were both a little younger, and like Romeo would be doing some bad pass rush move, and he would honestly like be blocking him and just ask him what he was doing. Like that's how good he was. He would be so flabbergasted by how bad Romeo was and how much he was dominating him. He would ask him mid-play, like, what are you doing, Romeo? And I've never seen that ever. So, especially at D1 football. So that was him, and then Jalen's ridiculous too. So those guys.
This guy Romeo he's talking about was probably 6'6", 260, 250.
Yeah,
not a small person.
Yeah, and he's going to be a top three rounds, pick this year.
Vicky?
Going like leaving Notre Dame, what do you think's the greatest thing you can take with you from your playing career and just your time at Notre Dame for the rest of your life?
My time at Notre Dame, that's a good question. So he asked, like, what's the thing I'm going to take with me from my time at Notre Dame and just my playing career at Notre Dame? Really, I think the thing that you're a Notre Dame guy. I think the thing that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life are the relationships that I've made there. And I think that really Notre Dame is unique to any other university I've ever heard of, been a part of. I have a lot of friends that go to all the other premier institutions. I don't know anyone with an experience that's even remotely close to the one that you received at Notre Dame. And I think that's something I'll carry with me. And there's a couple other things, but I don't know if we'll have time for that. I have no idea how much time we have left. So
yeah, we're going to start cutting it close. So maybe one more question. All right, Jack.
What are your current plans for your future?
What are my current plans for my future? So it might sound crazy to all of you, but I never had a goal on my goal list to go play in the NFL. Never. I didn't want it. I never wanted to do it. I didn't think it was attractive. And so it was kind of crazy as I got to the end of my Notre Dame career where that became a possibility to like have to consider it. And really, it came down to at the end of this last year, me deciding that, I've always gone after my dreams. I've always just been relentless about going after the things that I really wanted in life. And if I wanted to continue to live my life that way and not have any regrets, which I have none right now, which is, I think is great, I couldn't pursue that though. So now, it's amazing. Right now I'm working in the Notre Dame investment office for the next 6 months, and I'm taking another class, and it's basically turning into like 6 months of an MBA that they're just giving me the curriculum for. And then I'm going to go into the business world and kind of go after the things that I'm really passionate about. And hopefully one day, God willing, I have children, be able to play with them at age 50. So those are my current plans, and I couldn't be more excited about the prospects of it and being free.
Maybe Chicago?
Yeah, maybe Chicago. I don't know.
Okay, before we end, I'm going to ask Joe to maybe share one more thing, but I just want to do a couple of reminders. 7 o'clock, right? Tip tonight? Yeah. 7 o'clock tip. As you exit, please stay off the floors. The blue's good. Nothing inside the blue. Check the bleachers, make sure you don't leave any garbage. I want to wish you good luck to, hold on, not done yet. weekend, but on the radio this morning, I was listening to NPR, and there was a nice segment. I actually just caught the tail end of it, but it was a conversation between a father and a son, and the son had lived life and had gone through some struggles, much to the chagrin of the father, who finally recognized it's his life, and he'll have the last word on his life. But he said, I'm your father, I'll have the second to last word on your life. So these young people, full of promise, potential, and ability, they will all have the final word on the decisions that they make. But if you could offer, what would be the second to last thing that you would offer them for their life?
I think I'll leave you with, I'm a big quote guy. I'll leave you with a quote that has resonated with me since I read it when I was about 8. And that is, there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. So wherever it is that you want to go, just remember that it's only through hard work, dedication, goal setting, and perseverance, combined with a tenacious relentlessness, that you're going to be able to accomplish it. There's no secret. There's no shortcut. It's all on you. And I wish you guys nothing but success, happiness, and just an amazing life. And if there's any way I can help any of you, I'll stay as long as if every one of you wants to take a picture, I will. But just come say hi. I really appreciate you guys coming out. God bless you and God.